Hi everyone, how you doing? Michael Bartolomucci here with Affordable American Air out of Lombard, Illinois. 630-HVAC-995, where your comfort is our priority. Follow us on Instagram or Twitter at AffordableAmer1, and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel below. This video is the first in a series of videos that we're going to be calling Homeowner Tips. These videos are designed in order to make homeowners' lives easier pertaining to their HVAC equipment. Just brief things from, maintenance and safety, and even increasing your system longevity in order to protect your investment. Now, as we're new to this, we do apologize for a little bit of the shakiness when it comes to filming in this next video. We will work to improve. Thank you for your patience, and we look forward to helping you guys for many years to come. Once again, we're Affordable American Air out of Lombard, Illinois. I'm Michael Bartolomucci. Take care. Alrighty, guys. So this is a standard filter that you'd see from somewhere like Home Depot or Menards, something like that, maybe an Ace Hardware or Lowe's. This isn't typically the type of filter that I like to put inside of an air handler or in a furnace. Based off of the manufacturer's literature, I don't really like to see pleated filters. Now, on commercial units, it's typically better to have a pleated filter in there just because of how hard that blower is actually pulling. You don't want that to pull into the unit. But when we're talking the residential world, my preference is going to be a fiberglass filter. Very, very low MERV capacity. MERV 8 and below is what's best, especially on furnaces, because that drive up in static pressure is going to cause stagnant heat to sit on the heat exchanger, therefore prematurely cracking the heat exchanger and causing your equipment to actually decrease in life cycle. This is actually rated in FPR, which is your filter performance rating. And typically these guys will say stuff like fits all standard brands or good for all equipment, things like that. What we're going to do is we're actually going to get this filter out of the packaging here. I can show you a little bit more detail. I don't know if you guys can see very well here, but when we're looking at these filters, they are zigzagged, and they have this little metal mesh that's inside of here, right here. And basically, they are very low MERV capacity as well. This is actually going to be okay, but typically, rather see fiberglass than fiberglass just typical standard filter rather than pleated. So you have your filter, and typically it's always going to have a filter size on it. Now, some filters will actually have this arrow here, which points in the direction of the airflow. I'm going to get into a little more detail about which way the airflow is going on your unit and show you some examples here coming in the video. I did want to just go over a little bit about what type of filters. Now, we will have more detailed descriptions of the types of filters that you should be using, where, FPR, MERV rating, and the different, IAQ standards came from, and what they mean to you as a homeowner. But for now, we're just going to show you how to get the filter in. Okay, guys. So I've got my ladder set up here. Saved myself a little bit of time by setting it up off camera. So in this specific air handler unit, it's a little bit different than what you see on a typical furnace. What we have here is we have what's known as a central return. So this central return works as a return for the entire home. It's going to pull the return air that's going to cross over the evaporator coil and heat exchanger and or heating element in order to condition that air properly for the space. In this situation, this filter is pretty dirty, so we're going to go ahead and get it changed out. Some of these will actually have screws when these little pull tabs have malfunctioned. Thankfully on this one, pull tabs are fine. So all we're going to do is we're going to get up on our ladder and make sure that we're not standing up too high on the top rung or anything like that. And we're going to take this pull tab right here and we're just going to pull it out. Pretty simple. Same thing down here, just pull that guy out. And this grill is just going to go ahead and open up and drop down. Now, filter maintenance is extremely important. And this one was left in a long time. And this is to show you a very, very bad filter. Now, let's get a good look at this. Now, it's not hard to see the difference here between these two filters. This is completely caked with dust and debris, and this one is completely clean. Now, on these filters, on the packaging, one of the things that they tell you is, hey, it's good for 90 days. It's effective up to 90 days. Now, I left this filter in for 90 days, specifically to show you what your filter looks like. In most scenarios, when it's actually left in for that manufacturer's period, your equipment is not going to be functioning the way that it should be, because the airflow is just not going to be the same as if it were a clean filter. Now, you know, there's some duct systems that are cleaner than others, and sometimes, you know, duct systems need to be actually have a team come in and clean them, or you need to add some sort of an additional indoor air quality solution. Some homes aren't as tightly sealed, or are so tightly sealed that things can't get in, or there's just too much infiltration, as well as building materials that are used being pulled from inside of the wall cavities, pets, smoking, you know, the list goes on and on. At any rate, inside of this home, we do have quite a bit, and the homeowner was nice enough to let me leave this in order to make this video, just per a previous conversation that we were having. So this is the way that the air is passing through, and you can see that it's actually built up quite a bit more on this side. We've got just so much dust. It is no fun. And as you can see, I mean, the house is a clean house. There's not a lot of dust or debris. They do have one dog, but regardless though, the amount of dust and debris that you're getting inside of that filter is really bad after 90 days. I recommend, especially again in a gas furnace scenario, you change these filters every 30 days. If you dial back on the rating of the filter and you go with your typical MERV 8 fiberglass filter, you're gonna pay about 99 cents to $1.50, $2 at most for one individual filter. You can get a box of 12 of them and you can change them once a month. You know, people think, wow, I'm buying all these filters and it's gonna cost so much money. The money that you're saving by protecting your investment in terms of the furnace, air handler, or air conditioning is far superior to that of the, you know, the minuscule filter. So just wanted to kind of show you, again, get a good look at this. This filter is way too dirty, and you guys would be amazed on how many calls we come on and the homeowner tells us, hey, the furnace doesn't work. Hey, the air conditioning's all frozen up. And all it is a filter that looks like this versus a filter that looks like this. Okay, so we've got our new filter here. Airflow arrow is pointing right now from left to right. Now, if I turn that filter and I face it up, in this scenario, that's exactly how it's gonna go. So basically, this central return is sucking all of the return air, returning to the equipment to be conditioned through this one hole. Inside of the video, we're going to show some traditional examples of upflow, downflow, and horizontal furnaces and air handlers, just to give you guys a better idea of that as well. But in this scenario, this central return, everything is going to be sucked up through this filter into that return and back to the equipment, keeping any particulate from finding its way into that blower motor or evaporator coil and causing us some unwanted issues. All right, so here we are, we're up here. Now the filter should be cut right to size. And again, just pops right up in there. Now on a lot of filters, or filter racks I should say, there will be a wire or something that holds this filter up outside of the grill itself. In this one, not so much. There is wire inside of here that keeps the filter itself from pulling up into the return. So here we just go ahead and put this here. It goes over that return ductwork. We just shut our grill and snap this guy shut. Snap this guy shut. Didn't want to close. There we go. So if you do have a little bit of trouble closing it, if you kind of wiggle it around, it'll snap right in. Sometimes those divots aren't quite lined up, so if you just kind of wiggle it back and forth, don't put pressure on the hinges or get it to pop out or anything like that. But if you kind of just grab it by the grill and give it a little bit of wiggle, make sure your hands aren't dirty when you're doing it. Granted, on this one, this grill actually needs to be cleaned because of the amount of dust that got up in there. So I will take care of that as well. But for now, everything looks good. Filter's back in, ready to filter the air in the house and get the equipment back up to the performance rating that it should be at, because that right there definitely is going to drive down a SEER rating on an air conditioner, you know, if not freeze it over, as well as, you know, mess up the heating side of things. Any sort of flames system, any sort of flame-driven combustion system is going to be popping on temperature overload with a filter like that inside of it. Yeah, perfect. And that's about it.
All right, so in conclusion, filter maintenance is super easy. It's very inexpensive, and it only takes a couple of minutes to do. By changing your filters regularly, you can increase your system longevity and protect your investment. Now, if your filter isn't easy to access, or you feel like it's something that you might need help with, please contact either Affordable American Air or your local HVAC provider. These videos are in no way meant to deter homeowners from calling when they need the help that's necessary. Their intent, rather, is to ensure that homeowners have the information necessary to keep their HVAC equipment running as safely and efficiently as possible. I'm Michael Bartolomucci. We're Affordable American Air. Thank you. Like and subscribe and write a review if you like the